Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Hey everybody, welcome to my podcast. I'm Layla. Today's topic is going to be about letting go of your expectations. I don't know where in our time and our lifespan we gotten to a place to where we expect certain things out of people that we don't even know. Now, what I mean by that is like you meet somebody, you don't know them. All you know is what they give you from their behavior that you have been around them to witness for yourself. But you also know probably a little bit of what other people probably have said to you about them, but you're not certain about it. But you have these expectations that they're supposed to be a certain way. Today's topic, I want to address about getting to know people, getting to know a person for who they really are. And, I hear this a lot. And I know the great late Dr. Maya Angelou, she said this: when a person show you who they are, believe them. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, wow, that is the truth. But now it has become a cliche where people just say it just because it sounds good to say, but they don't necessarily put it into action and live by it. I was online. I woke up this morning and I usually try not to get online when I first wake up because I know that it will set the tone for my day. And I usually try to wait until I'd had my coffee. And if I eat breakfast, because I don't always eat breakfast, but if I do eat breakfast, I make sure I have done all that. And usually, that's usually my time to gather my thoughts, get myself together, and to really just think about how today is going to be or how I would like today to be, because I can't control my hours and you can't control what's going to happen. But I tried my best to just try to stay away from negativity when I first wake up, because that is one of the things I have learned about myself when I was a lot younger. I found out that I don't do well when I first wake up. I'm not thinking straight. I'm usually an impulsive person when I just wake up because I'm not completely all the way there. I'm already the type of person that if I don't get enough sleep, I'm grouchy. But even if I do get enough sleep, and I have to get up super, super early, I'm still grouchy because I'm just not a morning person, but I'm starting to learn to love the morning times. So I made a mistake and I got on, well, at least I think that I made a mistake. Maybe I did it. But I got online and I saw this video of this young girl who had gotten killed by her husband back in September. And this is not that long ago. It's probably it's recent. It's a little bit of 2 months ago. She had been crying out to the police department of Buffalo, New York, to do something to give her some type of help. Now, I don't know the full story, but what I witnessed in the video from the police officers, from her friends, from the pictures that she posted, as well as the videos that she posted, and just the fact that she's no longer here with us. What I witnessed was that this girl was crying out for help because she knew that her husband was going to kill her. Her husband had already been in violent situations. But I question that situation because when you listen to everyone talk, there was people in her life that told her that she shouldn't marry him. And yet she's married him. Then there was others who have spoken on him doing domestic violence to her before they got married, and yet she still married him. And it can go in many different directions with the situation, but I'm only going to talk about letting go of your expectations and knowing that warning always comes before destruction. We're always warned before danger is set in our path, before we actually experience the traumatic trauma of danger, whether it's mild or severe. There's a warning sign that's there. We don't take heed to it at all. We don't listen to it. We don't pay attention to it, or we see it and we ignore it. Either way it goes, there's danger, and a warning is always there before it happens. Something takes place before it just gets out of hand. And in her case, she was warned by her family members who told her not to marry this guy, and she did anyway. She was also warned when he was physically abusive to her before they got married, and she still married him anyway. Now, I can say that I'm familiar with this type of life because I have lived in her shoes before. Now, I did get out of the marriage, which led me to be here today, being able to speak what I'm speaking at this moment. But I was there where I thought that this man was going to probably kill me too, because of his rage, of how crazy he would get when he got into his rage, into his moments. But we need to take accountability for our own actions. We can point the finger at the next person all the time, but if we don't take accountability for what we do as individuals, then we will always fall short when it comes to living our best lives. I want to read a scripture from Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 16 through 19. And this is the NIV, the New International Version. And what it says is, at the end of 7 days, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, I have made you a watchman for the people of Israel. So hear the word I speak and give them warnings from me. When I say to a wicked person, you will surely die, and you do not warn them or speak out to.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, These pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alelacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. Discern them from their evil ways in order to save their life. That wicked person will die for their sin, and I will hold you accountable for their blood. But if you do warn the wicked person and they do not turn from their wickedness or from their evil ways, they will die for their sins, but you will have saved yourself. What is that saying? Well, Ezekiel was a prophet, and God came to him with a message to tell the people that they need to change their lives. And what happened is that God was telling Ezekiel that if he don't give the message to the people, basically warn them. And if Ezekiel held back the message, which was a warning, and the people still did what they was going to do, they was going to die. But Ezekiel was going to be held accountable for their lives being taken, for the blood that was shed. But if Ezekiel did what the Lord told him to do, which was to warn them, and they still did wickedness and evilness, they were still going to die. But Ezekiel was not going to be held accountable for their bloodshed. Well, I'm the messenger, and that's what I'm doing right now. I am here to give you the message that was given to me. When I woke up this morning, I did not realize I was going to even see any of those things. But God was speaking to me about it. And he told me to give this message to anyone who hears this message. This message is actually for you. If you listen to this message, if you're listening right now, this message is for you. Whether you are the abuser or you are the person who's been abused or you know someone who is being abused, this message is for you. So listen up. Here in Texas, domestic violence is considered a misdemeanor. I don't understand why. It should be a felony, but it's considered to be a Class C misdemeanor if it's a threat or offensive contact. And the punishment is only up to $500. $500? Come on, man. Really? Anybody could just come out of their pocket and pay $500 and still go back to abusing, threatening, and doing those things to whoever they're doing it to. Then if you decide that you take it further and you literally cause bodily harm to the person, well, it changes to a Class A misdemeanor. Still a misdemeanor. And the punishment for that is fine up to $4,000, plus you go to jail for up to a year. Do you really think that's a lot of time? It's not. And even $4,000, that's still not a lot when someone have gotten hurt, injured. It's just not good enough. Really, these laws need to be changed. But the bad thing about this is that this is Texas. So they're in Buffalo, New York. They locked this man up, but they let him out on bail. And when they let him out on bail, he stalked his wife and he shot her to death on her way to take her 3 children to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. She was wearing a bulletproof vest. She even posted online on Facebook showing that she was in danger, asking the police for their help. What they provided her with was they had her get with a domestic violence advocate person. This person said that they had a place that she can go for safe haven, but she chose to go to her mother's house. Bad decision, number one. That was a bad decision in that situation that she made. She should not have made the decision to go to her mother's house. Her parents, on the other hand, should have told her to go somewhere that he don't know where to find her. Because as much as we would like to think that the person that we lay down with is not going to be evil to us or treat us wrong, if she went to the extent to buy a bulletproof vest, that lets you know that this girl really knew that this man was going to kill her. I wish she would not have went to her mother's house. And the reason for that is because when a person want to find you, they're going to go to every spot they know that you probably will go to. And usually that would be your parents' house, your best friend's house, to work, to school, or wherever they may find, even to a grocery store that you always go to. Those things you should stay away from. You should avoid. You should not go to any of those places. Personally, I would say move completely out of the city or even out of the state if you need to. But get somewhere where that person cannot find you. You need some time and some distance in between the two of you. That way, at least he probably could have a chance to calm himself down, move on with his life, and then just leave you alone altogether. Hopefully, you don't have any children together. And if you do have children together, then you're going to have to figure out a better way to get the judge to grant you full custody so that way he won't have no contact with you through your child or your children. You know, I sit back and I think about even my own situation, and I say to myself, I had some weak moments where after I separated from him and had him move on, I started feeling like, did I make the right decision? Because he was steady trying to call me and constantly showing up unannounced, leaving flowers on the doorsteps, on the porch, all those things. And I had a weak moment. I thought to myself, I was like, well, maybe he might change. Maybe he might, you know that he did wrong and realize he went too far. But then I snapped out of it real quick. I snapped out of it so fast to where it's like, oh no, this dude ain't changing. Not like that. It's gonna take him to go through some time, some real time, like years, because a person don't get that way overnight. We have this thing about us where we have these expectations about a person, and we think that this person is supposed to be a certain way because we want them to be that way. But in reality, that's not the truth. It's not real. It's not going to be so. And we fooling ourselves. We're not taking in any accountability that there's something going on with us inside of us that is making us believe that this person is supposed to be a certain way, or this person is supposed to act. And let me clarify what I mean about a certain way. Here we are. We grow up. We have this lifestyle, and we fantasize how we want our lives to be. So as a child, we think that we're supposed to be rich, or we're supposed to have this great job where we don't have to worry about bills and having transportation. We're going to have all those things because that's just the way things are supposed to be. Well, then as we get older, we realize that's not true. That's not happening. It's not the way things are supposed to be because we got to get out there. We got to work. We got to go to school. We got to get these degrees. If we don't get the degrees, we got to work extra hard. We have to put in the work first off. If we don't put in the work, we ain't gonna have these houses. We ain't gonna have our bills paid for. We ain't gonna have these cars, or none of that. So we realized that, ooh, that's not gonna work. We have to deal with reality at that point. But then we don't deal with reality when it comes to meeting people, when we get married, when we're dating, and when we're just having fun. We don't put in the thought that the same thing that goes into making a living for yourself is the same work that's going to have to go into getting the right person, hooking up with the right person, being married to the right person. We don't put in getting background checks. Yes, you might think that getting a background check on a person is violating their privacy. That's not true, because it'll save you a whole lot of trouble if you took the time to find out who this person really is, who they are on paper. Do they have bad credit, first off? Okay, that depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live, you know. Then, bad credit can also be fixed too, just to let you know that you can fix bad credit. So, you know, that could still be a judgment call on you. But then you got criminal background. That situation can't be fixed. This person committed a crime. They got caught in that crime. Now you got an opportunity to see who you're dealing with on paper. What did this person actually do? What type of crime did they do? Did they do time for this? How long did they do the time for? And then you could find out if this person is going to be truthful to you by their own mouth to tell you that they did time, because sometimes they hide that from you, and they won't even mention that they had done time because they feel like it's none of your business, which it is your business. Then they might bring it up, and then they're going to give you a fabricated story behind it, which is completely a lie, and that's not true about what happened. And then that can also help you determine what type of person you're dealing with. In the beginning of a relationship, is the most crucial part of anybody's life when you are getting involved with anybody. If you're going to date with the intent to marry, and you feel like that this person could be the one, even if you're not sure that this person's the one, but you still are dating with the intent to marry because you want to be married, you need to do a background check on this person. You need to find out who you're married. Who are you going to be marrying? Because this person could have a background that could prevent you from getting married to them, that could actually save your life and save you a whole lot of trouble up ahead. That's what is warning come in from. Warning always come before destruction. If you want to live a peaceful life without always walking on eggshells every time you come around somebody that you're supposed to be in love with, or that's supposed to be in love with you, and all of a sudden every time this person come around they give you anxiety, you walking on eggshells, you can't speak certain things, they got trigger words that you can't say or things that you can't do. You could avoid all that if you do a background check on this person. And it doesn't stop at only paperwork. Now you need to find out who are their friends. Who is the person that they're close to? Ask them questions. You might have to ask code questions, meaning like you can't just come out and say, "Hey, your boy, is he a good person? I mean, like, is he someone that you will let your sister date?" You might have to think about some questions like, I know y'all friends, you cool and all that, but on a scale of 1 to 10, his attitude, where's that at? For his bad attitude. Okay, what about good attitude? Okay, I need to know, like, why are y'all friends? Tell me some stories. What make y'all so cool with each other? That kind of stuff. You might have to do that. because you want to get as much information about the person as possible. You also want to check their work history. You want to see, do they keep a job? If they have a job and had it for a long time, are they good and cool with their coworkers? Do they get along with their coworkers? Do their coworkers like them? And you might want to figure out, like, you might want to say, like, how's I supposed to find that out? Like, how in the world I'm supposed to find out that he's cool with his coworkers and stuff? It's not hard at all. I can say, for instance, when I used to work for Hewlett Packard Company, me and a few of my coworkers used to go out together. Matter of fact, not a few, it was a lot of us. We used to go out together and have a good time because we was that cool with each other. Not saying that you have to go out with your coworkers and stuff like that, but if a person have a true relationship with their coworkers, you will know it. And you can tell that their coworkers like them, and that it becomes more than just a work situation between them. Now it's literally a friendship, and that takes time to build. But if a person been there long enough, they would have built that type of relationship by now. And if they are new to the workforce at that particular job, well, you probably won't be able to find out right away about that. But then you can dig deep, like, why are they new to this job? What happened to their old job? How long have they been without a job? And listen to what they say. Listen to what they say, and listen to what they don't say. A lot of the time, we, and I'm talking to the women right now, a lot of the time, us women, we are wrapped up into what we want, that we will fall for anything. And we will put ourselves in a situation where we clearly can see the signs in our face, and we ignore it because we want to get married so badly. One of my other podcasts says, don't be desperate to get married. And the other one I had says, have some standards. Okay, well, this falls into that same category. If you find yourself wanting to get married more than save your own life, then something's wrong with you. You literally want to be married so badly that you don't even care about your own safety, that you don't take the time out to find out who you are getting married to. And I'm speaking from experience. So I'm not just talking just to be rambling. I'm talking because I live on both sides of the spectrum. I was the one that wanted to get married so badly that I did lower my standards, and I married a guy who was abusive and everything. But then, after reevaluating myself and trusting in God, then he brought me the right man. And now I'm married to a beautiful man with a beautiful heart and a beautiful soul. He is so good to me, and I don't worry about him. I don't question his treatment towards me. I have seen him when he was very, very sad. I have seen him when he was horribly upset, and he never lashed out at me, and he still embraced me with love even while he was pissed off and mad at me on top of that. But the love was still there, and he showed me that he was still gentle enough to still be mad at me, but not mistreat me or abuse me in any kind of way. And I realized, even with my son, how he embraced him and loved him just as well as he loved me. And not only that, I listened to other people talk about him. Before we got married, people that I met that knew him, and I'm talking about from guys to girls to old guys, like this one guy, he's in his 80s, been knowing my husband since he was in high school, and coached him on the basketball team. And then there's another coach that he treats like two of them, both of them, like that's his daddy. Like that's his father. Both of them are there. He got like three fathers. But what I mean by that is that he is so loved and liked by others. I paid attention to that, and I said, people like him. That's good. They're not running from him. They genuinely do like him. And then this one girl, not even one, it was like about four different Not even four. Think about it. Okay, it was one time when he was coaching, the other time. Okay, so actually, it was several times where someone came up to me and they said, "He's a good man. Man, you got you a good one." And I was like, wow, this is God confirming my prayer, because I prayed and asked God to show me who I was dealing with, because I didn't want to be involved with just no anybody. I didn't want to go back down memory lane dealing with the same type of person that I had previously divorced. So I put myself in a position to keep my eyes and my ears open and to pay close attention to who this person was that I was with. There was no way I was going to relive what I've been through. I had my running shoes on and ready to run the first sign of any type of abusive behavior or lying, impulsively behavior, or mistrusting behavior, anything that I could see that I could not believe that he was saying to me, and I'm seeing something different. I had my running shoes on ready to run. I just was. And you talking about guards up, guards was all the way to the clouds in the sky. I'm not talking about low hanging clouds. I'm talking about the ones that's where the airplane goes above it. That's how much of my guard was up, because I wanted to make sure that I was not going to be re-entering into the same situation that I was in before. With all this being said, you have to let go of your expectations, because when you have an expectation for a person and they don't meet those expectations, they don't meet those standards, you get disappointed, you're hurt, and then you start lying to yourself. You start telling yourself things like, they're going to change, or they're going to get better. Just give it some more time. Or you start making up excuses, such as, if this person was to, let's say for instance that your guy, he loses his job or whatever, and this is why I fell into this kind of category. At I know previously I made a video, podcast, saying that, explaining the situation about my second husband, how he didn't want to work, and I remembered saying to myself plenty of times that if he had a job and he was making good money, his attitude would be better. Well, I was lying to myself, because that's what I would tell myself, thinking that if he had a job making decent money, he would be happy and he wouldn't be acting the way he act towards me, and he would treat me better, and hopefully he would help with paying some bills. Well, that wasn't true, because when he did get a decent job making good money, he didn't want to pay no bills still, and he still had a stupid attitude, because he was making up excuses to try to quit, because he really didn't want to work. But those are examples of us lying to ourselves and not being honest about, we're dealing with a certain individual who has anger issues, who may be considered a narcissist if he got diagnosed, if he had got evaluated to be able to find out if he was. And then on the same token, dealing with a person who is selfish, jealous, has envy in his heart, and that is very insecure. So when you're dealing with that kind of person, and then you sit back and you're lying to yourself, like giving yourself excuses on why you should stay with them, you are literally digging yourself into a hole, and it's because you have certain expectations. Now, the expectation might not even be on him. It might not even be on your spouse. Your expectation might be on yourself. And that's where it was with me as well. I had expectation that I was not going to be single forever. That was one of the things that I had expectations on. So it just took me to a whole nother level in my life where I was so keen and focused on not being single that I didn't take any real opportunity to see what was happening with myself, to notice that I was falling into a category of desperation and I was falling for anything. And that's how I felt into that marriage with this guy that I clearly knew from a visible standpoint by looking at him and watching his actions and listening to how he's talking and seeing his behavior and realizing that people who was around him have certain sarcastic remarks about him. I'm like, but yet I ignored it because I'm thinking that, I'm not going to be single forever. I'm not going to have myself in a situation where I have to keep dating because I'm tired of dating. Now, I saw a post yesterday on Facebook, and it was a post of Portia from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She used to be on there. She got married to this African guy, and when I read the post, it was saying that she married for money. She didn't marry for love. And this one lady in the comment said, I've been single for 16 years. I think I'm gonna get like Portia and marry for money. Well, whether you marry for love or you marry for money, you need to still know who you are getting yourself involved with, because either way it go, if the person who you are marrying has a demon inside of them and it is a hell raiser, then you are going to experience hell with that person. You're not going to live a peaceful life. That marriage is going to be full of chaotic and craziness that's happening on a consistent basis. It's going to be so unstable, it's not even going to be funny. So we need to check ourselves on why it is that we want to be married so badly. What is it that got us want to be married? So I want to explain this. I remember telling my husband this recently. I told him, this is the way I see things. In the beginning, you had Adam, you had Eve. God gave Adam specific orders and specific rules of what to do and what not to do. He gave him rules on that he should attend to the earth, attend to the garden, attend to the livestock. He had dominion over everything, right? Well, there's one thing he told him not to do. Do not eat from the tree of life and death, of knowledge. Do not eat from it, or your eyes will be open and you will surely die. Well, those were rules that God gave to Adam. He didn't give those rules to Eve. But Adam did tell Eve the rules, because they did rely on everyone. When I mean everyone, God had given Adam life inside of him, which is the seed that produces other people, which is mankind. Semen, sperm. Okay? Okay. I think we got it together now. So when Eve was deceived by the serpent, which was Satan, he took over a serpent's body to get to Eve and to basically get her to eat the forbidden fruit. People call it an apple, but to be honest, it was never named. No one knows the name of that fruit. We just know that it was from the tree of knowledge, which was life and death. We know that. So when Eve ate the fruit, God did not show up. You know when God showed up? He showed up when Adam ate that fruit. And the reason why he showed up when Adam ate the fruit, because he literally gave the rules to Adam. And Adam was supposed to have given the rules to Eve, but Eve disobeyed and did what she did, gave it to Adam, and Adam, instead of him using his right mind and saying, hold up, no, God told me not to do this, so I won't. You did it, but guess what? I'm not. And remember that Eve came from Adam. So when Adam chose to go ahead and listen to his wife and disobey God, now that's when God showed up. When God showed up, he called out for Adam and he asked him, "Where are you?" And Adam said, "I'm hiding." "Why are you hiding?" "Because I'm naked." "Who told you you was naked?" And that's when his eyes was open to the truth, which is life and death. Well, this is my part that I love the most. When God showed up and he told Satan that he was going to crush his heel through a woman, which is Christ Jesus coming through Mary. That opened my eyes to understand why us women are so desperate to want to get married so badly. Because if you go on into the scripture, he even talks about how Eve is going to be subjected to her husband. So this means that we long for a husband because we are supposed to be subjected to him, not abused by him, but we are supposed to have someone to govern over us as like Adam over Eve. But that's not what happened. That's not what's happening now. A lot of us, we don't have a man, a real man, that looks to Christ as his head to get directions from. He does whatever he wants to do, so he's corrupt. The man is corrupt. And then you have the woman who is lonely, who's lost, and she don't have nobody to actually guide her in the way that she's supposed to be guided in. She does what she want to do. And of course, some people going to say, "Oh, no, I don't believe in that." That's fine. You don't have to. But it's a longing spirit that's inside of every woman that longs to be married. Even if she says she don't, it's still there. She probably suppresses it. And many of us do. We will suppress our feelings, suppress what's really there, and do it for so long to where we become really experts at it. But it's still there because I've figured something out. This is what God showed me. He showed me through myself. He also showed me through other people. Us women, we would be like, "I'm not marrying this type of guy. If he showed me this," let's say, for instance, I'm gonna get straight to the point. A man could be cheating on us. He could be lying to us. He can be doing all those things as a boyfriend, and we are hurt. We're mad. We're angry about it. But then we still stay with him. We go back to him. We forgive him over and over and over again. And he don't change his ways. He's still doing it. Now he's just probably doing it in a more slicker way, but he's still doing it. And we haven't really fully gotten into a place where we can trust him as the way we did when we first met him, before we found out about his cheating ways, his lying ways, and stuff like that. Then the man decides that he wants to get on his knees and propose. And all that stuff just goes out the window. Everything, all the cheating, all the lying, it just goes out the window. We just say, "Oh yes, 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 I'll marry you. Yes, I'll marry you. Oh my God, yes," and don't realize that. Do you realize who the heck you're marrying? You're marrying a cheater. You're marrying a liar. You're marrying an abuser. You're marrying someone who don't want to work. You're marrying a lazy man. You're marrying a man who don't give a damn about nobody. You're marrying a man who's a deadbeat, don't care about his children. He don't raise his children. Have not raised his children. Not looking to raise his children. This is the type of person you're actually marrying. But because we want to get married so badly, we choose to overlook all that. That's how I figured out that longing feeling is inside of us to want to belong to somebody, and that's a man. Even if the woman is dating another woman, there's still a dominant person in that relationship that is dominating that relationship and is still in the form of masculinity, which is still a man. Because we women come from a man. We're just a man with a womb. Now, I can go on and on and on about this and break it down a little bit more, but I'm just trying to give you understanding of where this is coming from. If we choose to tap into that longing feeling of wanting to get married so desperately and find out what is it about ourself, our individual selves, that make us want to be married without having standards, then we need to find out what that is. Because if we take the time to find out what it is, it will change the dynamics of our lives and how we see marriage. It even changed the course of our way of being. Every single day we get up, when we go to work, when we take our children, whatever it is that we do on a daily basis, it would change that too. Because we won't be looking for a husband so dang on much. Because the reason why the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing, not the other way around. Where the woman is looking and looking, what you looking for a husband for? Stop looking for a husband. That husband is supposed to find you. And for him to be able to find you, you have to put yourself in a position, a good position, to be a wife, not a desperate wife. Don't be a desperate woman that you want to be married so badly that you would choose to lower all the standards that you have, and then you find yourself in a relationship with somebody that you had expectation that was going to treat you a certain way, and he's not that person because you didn't take the time to know who you was actually getting married to. Take your time. I don't care if it is 16 years. It can be 50 years. You just happen to be an old woman getting married for the first time. But but who cares? Well, who cares? I say that because when it's right, it's right. And if you happen to be 50, 55 years old and you're getting married for the first time and you married the right person, the rest of your latter years are definitely better than your formal. And you will enjoy, but you will also enjoy your formal years because you got a chance to live a single life, to be able to enjoy being your own person. You know who you are when you are your own person. You know who you are. You know the things about yourself in and out because you have taken the time to learn who you are. But when you're just constantly searching for a husband, you're neglecting yourself. You're neglecting to find out who you are as a woman, as an individual, as a human being. All you know is, I've been looking for a man because I don't want to be alone. I've been looking for a husband because I want the fairy tale wedding. That wedding is short lived. It is not longer than an hour. You go through the emotions of your bridesmaid, if you have one. You have to go through getting dresses, tuxedos, making sure that you got catering. If you have a destination wedding like I did, then you got to have a package deal. You pay for the package. You got to have transportation, flights, hotels. You're going to pay for all those things. So you're literally stressing out over the wedding. But one thing that you are failing to realize is that when the wedding is over, honeymoon is over, guess what? You got the marriage to deal with. And that is when reality sets in. That is when it hits you like a ton of bricks. Whether it's good or bad, it's still going to hit you like a ton of bricks because your life has changed. People think that when they get married, that things are going to get better. Well, if you are having trouble in the dating stage of your relationship, and you don't fix those problems before you get married, and you bring those same problem into your marriage, then guess what you just did? You have amplified your problems. Marriage brings on its own set of problems differently from a dating relationship. When you're dating, it's just you that you really have to be concerned with. It's your last name that you have. It's not you attached to him or he attached to you. It's none of that. It is just you. Even though you might say we've been living together for 40 years, guess what? It's still just you. But then you have now joined yourselves as one. United yourself as one. You're married now. Guess what? You no longer have just yourself to deal with. You have your spouse to deal with. And for some reason, if your spouse is the kind of person that feel like you're not just a wife, now you are a piece of property, your ownership, you belong to me, you got a big problem. And that's when the domestic violence really is at its fullness and at its greatest height. Domestic violence is something to play with. It is serious. It's deadly. People die all the time behind domestic violence. A husband is killing his wife, and even the other way around, the wife kills her husband. Now, the wife could be killing her husband for self-defense because she wants to be able to protect herself and her children, but then she still got to deal with the consequences of going to jail because she took a life. When all this could be avoided when you pay attention to the first sign of abuse, that this person is abusive, and you can find it out, like I said, through background checks. Talk to his friends, talk to his family. If he have his mother, if he's have a relationship with his mother, see what their relationship is like. Even though I'm not a believer of a man, the way he treats his mother is the way he's going to treat you. That I have lived that, and that's not true. Because boy, my ex-husband adores his mom, man. She's like a queen to him. She can do no wrong. But he treated me like crap. I mean, like everything I did was something wrong with that. So that's not a necessarily true statement. If you hear someone say that to you, it's just not. That's not a true statement. So just listen to her talk about him, though. I can say the first time I had a conversation with my ex mother in law about my ex husband, we had gotten into it. And I was trying to figure out at the time who I had married. I should have been done this, but I did it late. I wanted to know what his mama had to say about him. I should have done this before I got married, but I waited till after I got married to find out what she had to say about him. And keep in mind, remember, he never told his mom that we was getting married in the first place. He told her after the fact. But I remember it kept ringing in my head what she said. He's your problem now. And I kept wondering why she say that. I want to know more. So I called her up one day, and I just wanted to know, and I was telling her I was telling her what happened with us, and she went on to start to try to explain to me that he had always had problems with girls in his past, with his girlfriends, that he was always trying to control them. And she used to always try to tell him, son, you can't control nobody else's life. They're going to do what they want to do, that kind of stuff. I wish I had that information before I married him, because that would have been my key to say, this dude's going to be trying to control you. You had already been in a situation before that your ex tried to control you by making you lose your job. So let's not do this one. But I didn't. I didn't. And not only that, she went on to tell me about his dad. When she was married to his dad, how his dad was with her. And That's another sign that would have helped me to realize that I should not have married this man because his daddy was no better. He was just as abusive too. But she went to tell me that he was abusive to himself more than to her. That he would bang his head up against the wall or on the concrete because he was so angry, so mad that she would have to he would break his hands and stuff like that, punching the wall. That's still anger issues. I don't care if you ain't punching her, you punching something that would cause yourself to have to go to the hospital to get a cast or you get yourself a concussion. That's not normal. Nothing in that is normal. That's all crazy to me. But I wish I would have known that before I got married. So this is why I'm telling y'all this because you can avoid so many problems if you just find the warning signs and pay attention to them. Look for the warning signs. Warnings come before destruction. Before you get into dangerous situation, there will be a sign there. Some type of clue. It will be there. You will have some kind of clue that will say, don't go in there. Don't go there. Turn back around. Don't say that. Be careful. You're going to have something. Watch out for this person. This person ain't no good. You're going to have something. But you must pay attention to those signs. And then when you see the signs, don't ignore it. Go ahead, make a sound decision that you're not going to go ahead and entertain this person any further and you're going to leave them alone. It's not easy to do, but if you value your life and you value your future and you value your peace, then you will do it. You will know that this person don't mean that much to you as you thought they did. If you chose to be with them, now you have chosen danger over your safety. Yeah, I hope that this helps. I hope that I was able to give you some kind of insight on paying attention to the signs and letting go of your expectations because expectation will get you in this jam, this type of jam, being with the wrong person, having the expectation. Let go of your expectation. When you meet somebody and they say, hey, I want to take you out to dinner, go out to dinner just to have a good time. Don't have an expectation like, oh, this might be my future husband. No, 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 no. You're already starting off wrong right there. You're starting off wrong for real because you haven't even gotten to know this person. You don't even know what this person about. And even if you dated this person before in the past, you have to realize that this person might not have changed. How much time has passed in between the last time y'all dated to even know if this person have changed? Have this person went through some significant amount of help to change? Have you went into any significant amount of help to change? Because your behavior have to change too. So, and another thing, even working with a person, oh my goodness, this is one of my biggest thing because I used to go out with some of my coworkers and we used to have a good time and everything that people would just hook up at the job and not knowing that you're actually hooking up with a person who you don't even know. You just happen to be work people, work partners, or whatever. And you have to be careful in that area as well because if you have a person that you work with, they're going to be on their best behavior at the job because they want to keep their job. So you're going to see a good part of them that is great, but you're not going to necessarily know who you actually dealing with until you get them away from the job. I remember dating this guy that I work with, and yeah, I found out that he was married. I found out that he had another lifestyle. Him and his wife, they were swingers and everything. So it was crazy to me because he was another swinger. I don't know what I had on my back that says choose me or pick me or whatever because he thought that he could invite me into that lifestyle with them and I was like, no, I don't think so. But when I had a conversation with his wife for the first time, her conversation was different from his because she didn't want to be in that life. But he had her in that life because she wanted to keep him. She wanted to hold on to him. So she told me out of her own mouth, when I first met my husband, I was not like this. I didn't do all these things like this, but this is what he likes. He said he can't just have sex with one person, so he wants to have sex with multiple women, have threesome stuff like that, and he chose to marry me. So I figured that in order for me to keep him, I need to do this. And when she was talking to me, I realized that people are really messed up. People are so desperate that they don't even know why they're doing the things they're doing. And it's wrong because you shouldn't have to lower your standards to keep somebody. You shouldn't have to lower your standards to get somebody either. And when I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want no part of what y'all have going on. I don't want to talk to him no more. I don't want to be bothered. So I remember coming back to work that night because I worked overnight. He saw me. I said nothing to him. I didn't give him no communication. So he kept trying to figure out what was happening with me. Well, when he got home that morning, I guess his wife must have told him that she talked to me and everything. So he ended up calling me on the phone and he was upset. Like, why are you talking to my wife? And I say, look, first off, I didn't know you was married. Second off, I don't do the swinging things, and I don't like to share. I don't. This is not me. This is not my lifestyle. You're not gonna drag me into this. So I already know how you got your wife. I know exactly what y'all have going on. That's not what I want. I'm not gonna be a part of that. And I remember he got angry. And he was like, "You wait till I see you at work. You wait till I see you at work." Like, what the heck did I do to you, dude? That you mad at me? I mean, you still got your wife. You just don't have me. I don't want you. And he just started tripping out. And so I hung up on him. And then I called his wife. And she was at work at this time. And I remember telling her, you need to tell your husband to stop calling me. Leave me alone. I don't want no part of what y'all have going on. If that's the lifestyle that you want to live, then that's the lifestyle that you're going to live. But leave me out of it. I don't want any part of that. I don't do swinging. I don't share. I don't like it. That's y'all life. Do you. But leave me out of it. And he seemed like he was trying to make me be a part of that life, but it didn't work because he was trying to do it in such a slick way, and I found out about it, and he felt like I should have been on board with it, and he was mad at me. So now what you gonna do? Try to control me and try to force me? No, dude, not gonna happen. So I end up calling my job. No, no, I didn't. No, I did. I didn't call my job. What it was I remember later that night when I got to work, they called me into the office. Yeah, he was trying to get me fired. And when I got into the office, I sat in front of my bosses and they was like, "What's going on?" I explained to them everything. And I even let them see the text messages that he had text me prior to showing up at work, saying that he was going to hurt me, the things that he was going to do, and being mad at me because I talked to his wife, and saying that that has nothing to do with me. I should never talk to her. And I said to myself, this man has lost his dang on mind. So when I showed that to my bosses, they said, that's not what he told us, but we see your proof of what's really happening. But he told us that you was harassing him, you was calling his wife, threatening them. I said, that's not true. That's not what happened. So that's when I showed them the information. I said, this is the truth right here. Let me show you. And I showed them all the details and they saw it and they was like, nah, he's fired. We're gonna walk him on out of here right now today, and we're gonna have escort to get him out of here. Then I remember watching them go up to him at his desk, tell him to get his things, and walk them out the door. And then I had a few guy friends that I used to hang with at Hewlett Packard come up to me and they say, "We're going to make sure you get home safe. We're going to make sure that he's not going to try to attack you because it's just something about him that we didn't like anyway." But what I'm trying to say here is that even with a work person that you think that you know them, you don't know them. And you have to make sure that you do your background check on these people. Know who you're dealing with. Understand that you don't have to be desperate to be with somebody. Take the desperation away. Take it away. Once you take the desperation away, then you can think clearly. I hope this helped. I'm signing out. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram at Alayla Carroll. You can also follow me on Twitter at Alayla Carroll. You can also follow me on Facebook at Alayla the Queen with the apostrophe between the and Queen, capital Q. And follow me on my website, queendomshiplife.org. That's queendomshiplife.org. And hit me up. Just let me know if you want to express yourself about some of the things that I have said in some of my podcasts. Go ahead and do so. And make sure you follow me on my podcast. Don't just listen. Also follow me too, so that way you'll be able to get updates on new content when it come out. And share this with other people. You might know somebody that might need to hear this message. Share this message with them. Don't be afraid to share. You can share all my messages. I'm cool with that. Signing out, Layla.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com.